Guys, it was good. Welcome to the Bird Brain Podcast, where the goal is to rise above it all, stay elevated, create that infinity up your you. I'm your host Isaiah, and I had a moment this week, and I want to share it with you. You know, we talk about trust issues all the time, right? Well, sometimes the calls are coming from inside the house. And I'll explain what that means, okay? So yeah, buckle up for a ride. Hopefully this helps you out, and if not, there are resources. Okay, so get some water, find a safe spot, put your thinking caps on, right? Um, and just get ready to sit with yourself and understand some things. All right. I said put your seatbelt on, right? Do it again if you do. Do it twice, damn it. All right. Get some water. Stay tuned. So there was this move. First of all, you know what? Before I even get into it, I want to say thank you to the Patreon supporters, Jaja Binks, for upping her patronage, and also, guys, if you are on a part of Flight Club on Apple, I can't see who subscribes, so I only know when you guys mention it. So I definitely want to say thank you to my Flight Club peoples too. Thank you guys for uh being subscribers. Tanea, Key, thank you guys so much. If you are like on Flight Club subscription, shoot me an email so I know it's you and I can shout you out properly and give proper thanks. I'm not just looking over you guys. I had reached out to Ab. I was like, hey, I see this, but I don't know who. They're like, yeah, we don't tell you who the subscribers are. And I'm like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose, guys. But I digress. So yes, if you are a Flight Club subscriber, shoot me an email. Let me know it's you so I can say thank you properly. All right. I think that's it for now. How are you guys? It's June, yo. We're halfway through the year. What's it looking like for you? Like what's your emotional forecast? What's your goal forecast? What's your relationship forecast? What does all this stuff look like? Like, what's the weather in your life right now? Is that a good question to ask? Can I ask you guys that question? Is that okay? Do I have permission? That's just something to think about. All right. And there's this movie called When a Stranger Calls, right? And it's an urban legend. It's an old legend. And basically, long story short, it's about this babysitter who goes and babysits the house, babysits kids at this house, blah, 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 blah. And homegirl keeps getting phone calls. And there are different variations of how the story goes. First, there's like a clown statue in the corner, which I was like, think the fuck not. And then in other variations, there's like she just keeps getting phone calls. And it's like, did you check the children? Whatever. And finally she calls the parents. She calls the parents and I forget what that conversation is. They're out at dinner. They're doing their thing. They're like, fuck them kids. Um, so then she calls the cops. And then the cops call back and they're like, get out of the house. And she's like, why, essentially, or whatever. Or get out of the house because the phone calls are coming from inside the house. Girl, somebody else in the house with you. All right. Or insert person, somebody else is in the house with you. And I was thinking about that this week because when it comes to trust issues, right? When it comes to trust issues, there is an element of I can't trust anyone. Don't trust anybody, right? Don't trust anybody. And I think that's like very damaging advice because it has you on high alert all the time. Um, and it also, what it does, I think, is it takes the focus off of you in a way of like lacking accountability, right? Um, and puts it on other people. Um, and this affects your self worth, right? It affects your self view. Um, you're always like the defenseless deer, right? Caught in headlights. And this is something that I actually work on with my clients, like accountability. Also, since it is June, guys, if you are looking to work through some stuff and actually tackle some goals and like be actually accountable, hit me up because I am starting openings for more clients for mental health coaching for June moving forward. So if you're looking for that, you're looking for some help in tackling goals or just kind of like breaking through some mental and emotional barriers you may be experiencing, shoot me an email because I definitely have some spots open, and the goal is to get away from that and change your view so your life can be a little bit different. Okay. So shoot me an email if you need like, a little nudge, a practical nudge. For me, see the thing about like how I move as a fitness trainer, but also as a coach is it's about tools. It's about practicality. It's about awareness. It's about application. It's not just about like, all right, having a conversation and then go live your life. It's like, no, we're going to have this conversation. And then there are things that we have to do to make sure it sticks, but also make sure that you see results. And I am very much about results. I don't just like talking for shits and giggles. And I think that's important. The reason why is because that's how you learn to trust yourself. If you can't trust anybody, right? If you're walking around being unsure of everybody you come across, what do you see when you look in the mirror? What does that person look like? How do you feel about that person? Hmm? What's that relationship look like? Just something to think about. Because it starts there. The phone calls are coming from inside the house. Whenever somebody is like, I've got away from doing this myself because if you listen to somebody enough and in every situation, every dynamic, they are, and this is not victim blaming, this is just perspective and it's something to think about because you'll be no exception to the rule. If ever you're in a situation where every story somebody tells, they were always the one that was being harmed or the one that's being fucked over, yada, yada, yada. That's information. And I'm not saying that they're lying either. I'm not saying that they're being deceptive. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is this. If it's always you and always some other person at the same time, you see what I'm saying? If it is always you, right? And it is always a different person doing the same thing to you, that's information. The phone calls are coming from inside the house, right? And we fail to realize if we can't trust other people, what do we think about ourselves? What does that thought process look like about ourselves? I had some crazy ass dreams last week. past relationships. And it's funny because there's one dream that keeps coming up, and it's kind of trippy because it's always the same scenario. Same person, same scenario. Same person, same scenario. And the dreams could be months, maybe a year apart. And it will be the same person, and we're in the same scenario. Sometimes there's a different ensemble, right? But the same situation happening. And then I had a dream recently about flying into a storm, right? Flying into a storm. It was a small plane. It's probably because I was watching this damn crazy documentary. But it was like a small plane flying into like a storm, essentially. And it happened, got through the storm, but I was scared shitless because I was like, I don't know if this plane is going to make it. I didn't trust it. I didn't trust it at all. I was like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust that we're going to make it back to the ground. But we did, right? But we did. And I like to pay attention to my dreams because they tell a story that I have not necessarily sat down to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a story that I haven't sat down to like actually process, digest, and read, whether it be around trust, right? Whether it be around my own stuff, or just a situation I haven't fully like embodied yet, right? And the thing about trusting others is like, I think most people who have trust issues with other people they don't trust themselves. They also don't do things to trust themselves, right? So when it comes down to it, the phone calls are sometimes coming from inside the house, right? You have to get tired enough of certain things for them to change, right? You have to get tired enough of being disappointed to change something. And the change usually comes from a you action versus like expecting the other people to change, or expecting something outside of you to change before you decide to make the change. And that's why I say, again, the phone calls are coming from inside the house. And a lot of times we don't trust ourselves because of the narrative that we have subscribed to when it comes to how we feel and think about ourselves, right? Where's the truth in it? Who said that, right? You can ask, like, where's this coming from? Where's the truth in that, right? And think about that and like sit on it. Because sometimes we say things to ourselves, or we say things about ourselves to other people. Like we talk shit about ourselves around other people, right? It's like we're fucking, like, if you're being self-deprecating and all of that, you're literally talking shit about yourself to someone else. Like you're having a laugh about yourself with someone else. You feel me? You can't trust you. You're being shady as fuck. Let's talk about it. You're being shady as fuck if you're being so self-deprecating in the presence of other people. Not only that, even in private, right? What you put on in public and like what you kind of do and say in private, there has to be some level of consistency there. Sometimes it's negative, right? Somebody can be consistent and negative is all hell. And then the company you keep reflects that, right? So if you're always, and like I said, this is what I've tried to get away from too, because I realized like there's a lot of shit that kept happening to me or with me. And I don't like being a victim, right? I don't care to be the victim. I can own some things happen and I'm like, shit, that sucks. That's not cool. how do I not allow this to happen again? I think it's a difference between learning the same lesson repeatedly with the same person versus like having the same lesson exist with different people. Um, Both are awareness, right? I think if you're having the same lesson with the same person, then it's like, all right, that's you. Buck up. Honestly, own your shit. Simple. Own your shit because it can't just be them anymore. You see what I'm saying? Um, and truth be told, like I'll keep it 100 with you. There are some people who sit in that space because it removes them from having to do anything. Like if it's always the other person, that means I don't have to do anything. Like I'm not the issue, it's the other person. And you stay in that space because it's like you'll always be broken the broken thing, right? And it's like essentially what was me. And again, this is not victim blaming. I definitely I don't subscribe to victim blaming, but what I am saying is there's a level of accountability that exists in that space when it comes to always getting fucked over. Discernment, right? Discernment. But also what I realize is if I can trust myself more and I can trust my decisions to a certain degree, certain things won't happen anymore. Because I have trust within myself. Like I can trust my choices. And I'm not it's a learning process. But once you kind of get over that hump, things change a little bit. Things change a lot of it. And you stop being stuck in this cycle, right? Of this thing of, yeah, I keep being fucked over or I'm having a hard time this and it's great, I think, when because it's like a light switch is literally an aha moment that happens once you understand what exactly is going on. And again, I had this with myself literally, it was a couple nights ago. What was I doing? I was literally just minding my business, doing something. And I was like, oh, boom, that right there. And it just changed something for me because now there was a level of accountability for me and like a level of awareness for me and a level of like, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. And sometimes I think when you are in this space of trying to figure things out about yourself, you got to ask questions. You got to be willing to ask questions. And you got to ask the right questions and you got to wait for the answer. All right. So yeah, just this one is kind of a short and sweet one. Think about that, right? The calls are sometimes coming from inside the house. And if you are the common denominator, that's something to be mindful of, something to process, something to take ownership of. And there is always a way out of it. You just got to have discipline because discipline in itself breeds trust, just so we're clear. Right? If you're disciplined enough, then you trust your skill set. It was great because my sister, she had asked me to draw something. And at first I wasn't confident about doing it. Actually, when she asked me to draw it initially, I was like, oh shit, I don't know, it's a lot. And then I looked at it again. I was like, yeah, I could do this. And then I sat down. I was like, I got you. And I drew it, right? I drew it. And it was great. It was it was meditative for me because I was just like, I haven't drawn anything in a while, y'all. Since the book, I don't think I've drawn anything. Have I? Nope. I'm working on some podcast stuff, some merch for that. Um, but I haven't really sketched anything. I haven't been using that medium. And sometimes when you don't do something long enough, you just stop trusting that you can, right? So you have to do it. Even playing the guitar, I had the opportunity to do that this weekend. Like mess around, play the guitar, make some music, like do my thing. And I just did it unsure. but now I have a new experience to establish trust. So yeah, sometimes the calls are coming from inside the house, and I just want you to think about that. I want you to be very mindful of that. And if you are having a hard time, like I said, with that process, and you actually want to get out of this cycle, and you want practical tools, and if you're really serious about it, shoot me an email at thebirdbrainpodcast@gmail.com. Subject headline coaching. And if you want to do the work, if you're really like, don't reach out if you're not serious about it, but like, if you really want to do the work, get at me and let's roll up some sleeves and get shit done, because it's a game changer and it helps. It works. There's clarity there, and there's just a weight that's kind of lifted off your shoulders. And I love being able to work with people and, seeing that change happen for them, right? Because it's important, and you deserve to take off some layers, man. It's going through the world weighted is fucked, and it's a disservice to yourself. So any way that I can help with that, I'm always down. So shoot me an email if you're about that life and you want to get down and dirty. But also, if you're looking to just change some things, like I said, it's already fucking halfway through the year. And while I feel like I'm like, man, what have I done? I'm like, man, I've done a lot, and there's been a lot happening. And we're here. Okay. So that's it, and that's all. All right. That's it, and that's all. Shout out to my Patreons. Again, shout out to the flight clubs, flight clubbers. I named it that because it's like no one, like Fight Club, right? No, the first rule of Fight Club is no one talks about Fight Club. And Flight Club is like just a play on words. I love words. But yeah, thank all of you guys for showing love and showing support. It's been a big deal, We just level up from here. And if you haven't, if you want to become a Patreon subscriber, head on over to Patreon or Apple subscriptions. Become one or the other. You get ad-free episodes. You get bonus episodes. And I am working on some things, some merch for the subscribers, because I think it's like important to show love. Like I said very early on, show love to the people that show love. And I was supposed to get these suckers done a while ago, but life does what it does. And yeah, it gets crazy, but it's something that I really like. I want to work on, and I love like creating exclusive stuff. Like I like novelties, or I like safe keeps. And I think one of the things I'm most grateful for is that there are people in the world I haven't met that are like rocking something that I designed from start to finish, and it just means a lot. It's not like an ego thing. It's more of like, you did this. And again, when we talk about building trust, sometimes you just have to show up, right? You just have to show up. And it's a beautiful thing. So for all the people that are showing love to your boy, thank you. Thank you very much. And if you have the book too, thank you again. If you have the book, for people that have ordered the book, it's coming. It's just slow with book publishing. But yes, the books are coming, and thank you if you have purchased a book. And if you do have a book, you actually enjoy it, leave a review on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles just to boost up the ratings, to get the book like pushed out there. It helps. Like, it takes a couple of minutes, but it's worth it, and it's greatly appreciated. Just like with the podcast, leave a rating, leave a review. Thank you guys for doing that. And yeah, leave a rating and review of yourself this week. I want you to do that. What's your Yelp review for yourself? If you had to give yourself a review, what would it be? Think about that. How did you talk to yourself this week? What does that review look like? Okay. So think about that, okay? Take care of yourselves, yeah? Take care of each other. All right. Wear your seatbelt twice. Tell somebody you love them, even if it's yourself. All right. Take flight.